Every time I see one of these Koei strategy games, they get a little bit better. The earliest Koei Famicom games had interfaces that only a programmer could love. And here's the third Nobunaga no Yabou game on the Famicom, and you no longer have to remember which direction on the D-pad is yes and no, or jump through strange hoops to enter numbers, or reference menu commands to tell people what direction you want them to move in. And even as everything changes, a lot of it remains the same. The core gameplay hasn't really changed at all. It's just streamlined in some ways, and there's a few new features. Although this is the third Famicom release, this is the fourth Nobunaga no Yabou game. The first Famicom game was actually the expanded re-release of the original. For some reason, Koei doesn't number the Nobunaga series. Nobunaga Oda was a central figure in 16th century Japanese history, one of many warlords at the time who attempted to bring the entire country under their control, and one of the most successful militarily. As is standard fare for Koei strategy games, in this Nobunaga no Yabou game, you have your choice of historical start dates, 2 in this case, then choose a province that you want to play as, and then your goal is to conquer everyone. Turns play out as months, and you get a certain number of actions based on the statistics of your leader and his subordinates. When I was playing as Nobunaga, I could do 3 things a turn, but when I was playing as someone you wouldn't have heard of, and whose stats and province made them basically look like a road bump for the real players, I could only take 1 action a turn. When you're managing your province, you can make improvements, build up your military, train them, and engage in some diplomacy. But there are a few additions to your province maintenance. There's now a cultural development score, which starts out extremely low everywhere, but as it crosses certain thresholds, you gain the ability to mine resources, manufacture guns, and eventually build warships. One of the things that helps you develop culturally are tea ceremony items, and if you have these, you can gift them to your retainers to improve them, or you could hold the tea ceremony and improve everyone a little bit. When it's time to take over some territory, you can now team up with a neighboring province if you have good relationships with them, or you can invade on your own. Battles are handled on this tactical map, and on every turn you move all of your units, then the enemy moves all of their units. The only real new addition here is that there are weather effects. It started snowing during this battle, so everyone was stuck in place, and then afterwards it became foggy so no one could see anything. Night will eventually fall and you can continue battling, and the attackers actually have a pretty significant advantage at night. That is one significant issue with Nobunaga no Yabou Bushou Fuuunroku. The new features aren't the most well thought through. In battle, you can run around until nightfall and then get a big advantage. And the tea ceremony items are the worst aspect of this. Your retainers gain some ability points and loyalty when you give them one, and they also lose some points from their abilities and loyalty when you take it away. But the loyalty that they lose is less than the loyalty that they gain. So you could pass tea ceremony items among your retainers and rapidly build them up to be totally loyal to you. Though there is a secret hidden parameter that can cause even completely loyal vassals to turn on you. Loyalty also affects the AI. It won't initiate battles without high loyalty levels. And since it has a lot harder time raising loyalty than you do, that can result in a very passive opponent. Now, despite those flaws, Nobunaga no Yabou Bushou Fuuunroku is pretty well regarded in Japan. People seem to consider it the dawning of the second generation of the Nobunaga no Yabou series. Though for myself, it's always hard to judge the Koei strategy games. I only have about an hour to play for these videos, and your first 3 or 4 hours are going to be filled with stupid mistakes and starting over. And even if you avoid those pitfalls, you're still going to spend an extensive amount of time just building up. That's not bad for a large-scale grand strategy game, but it is kind of bad for somebody who needs to make a video a day. I can say that the presentation's quite a step up, and as long as you don't abuse them, the new features are kind of neat. But as with all of these Koei strategy games, this isn't the platform I'd choose to play them on. This particular edition was released on every 16-bit console along with the Famicom. And why play here when you could play on one of those?